here on time. Don't feel put upon. So anyway, very briefly, for those of you who don't know, my name is Harold Sloves. I'm consulting with the division to move the needle on the use of enabling technology and remote supports for people in your waiver. This presentation is vitally important because one of the key outcomes of my collaboration with the state will be an opportunity for a provider to partner with a support coordination agency and transform itself to a technology-first organization. So we see that as a pretty important outcome and major step within your system. And foundational to that is Shift. Shift really, I've known Shift for about 6 years now and collaborated very closely with them in Tennessee. And since then, they've grown into a nationally recognized curricula, I should say, for state agencies, providers, support coordination agencies, and MCOs. So it's a dynamic and growing organization. I'm just thrilled that they're here. And again, their work in Alabama will be foundational for next steps. So let me get out of the way and introduce the director of Shift, Jill Ibbotson. I think I said that right. And thank you, Jill.
All right, thank you for allowing me to come today and share. Good morning, Alabama. I am from Georgia. I love the South. My grandfather is from Dothan, Alabama, or spent a lot of time there. So I've spent a lot of time in your wonderful state. I am new to Shift. I've been here just about 2.5 months. So full disclosure, you are my first orientation presentation. So please critique me freely. You can put it in the chat and Harold will love to give me that feedback, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm going to do a quick overview of Shift today, and then I'll take any questions. But our website's also really thorough, so you should feel free to click on that afterwards and explore a little further. Shift is an online education platform. We're supporting the Tech First movement towards integrating technology as a natural support. We offer certifications, and organizational accreditation is another option. So all levels. Our goal is to support the culture shift and the mindset shift that needs to take place in order for technology to be first in your person-centered care planning. And that means buy-in at all levels of your organization or all levels of a state. And so our curriculum is designed so that it can serve many different roles. And there's something for everyone on this call, I'm sure. I am new to this world of IDD supports. And I took our fundamentals courses and learned a lot. So if I had my wish, every person everywhere would take at least our fundamentals courses and learn a little more about the amazing work that all of you are doing. So that is a nutshell. Let me carry on. This is feedback that we received from one of our learners, and we think it really wraps things up pretty nicely. The first thing that changed was my mindset on how we define being a tech-first organization. And that is really what we're about. We are not so much about how you use different pieces of technology and how each individual will be impacted by those things. It is more about you and your organization and how you make the change, the culture change to start to embrace technology in the most effective and efficient way. And we'd like to do that in a standardized way too, so that we know that it is done really safely and thoroughly. And we can start to build kind of a global culture around this where we're all talking the same language to some degree. Next. So Dr. Shay Tanis, you may have heard of her. She's a respected research professor in our field. And she did a study that she sent to all states. She heard back from 180 surveys, or 38 states, I'm sorry, 38 states. I'm sorry about that. And what we really thought was sort of stunning, but also really affirming, was that half of the findings that she came up with, the study was to find out what are barriers and hurdles to enabling technology. Half of them really can be remedied by education And that is what SHIFT is all about. So as you can see across your screen here, the third one, a knowledgeable workforce around technology, training on technologies, and really all the way down to that 12th one that says agency leadership. That really means they're leading the movement through the culture shift to tech first. And so half of the items that she discovered can really be addressed by what we have to offer and some of our other partner education agencies out there. But we are unique in that we really are about integrating this into everything that you do every day. So next, this is just kind of a definition. This is a repeat of what I already said to you. Tech First Shift is an online education and accreditation platform designed to advance the Tech First movement through standardized best practices for enabling technologies and technology first models. So that is just a summary of what I sort of introduced. Again, it's about an organizational transformation, and we want to help lead through that. And we do that with all size organizations. You can be a 2-person outfit or a 100, 200 person outfit. And what we can do is help you talk through how many of each different education levels can help you so that you know that this shift will be sustainable. So now we have, like I said, a variety of different packages, and this is really laid out nicely on our website, which I will attempt to share, but I don't want to go away from this screen quite yet. So I'll attempt to share our website so you can see that if you go to, we'll make sure that you get that website after this, I hope. I'm sure y'all will help me do that. If you go to our website and click on education, underneath it are all the details underneath each one of these different levels of education. Enabling technology credential is something that really every person should take. Like I mentioned, that's the one that I took initially as I was learning this new role. And I just learned so much about the work that you do and the correct and most effective way to do it in a way that is giving someone the dignity of risk, making sure that we're having someone live their most independent and most full life. I really learned a lot about that, but also that technology is not something that would hinder that, but something that would make that easier, better for the staff that are doing that work, but also for the individual, that self-advocate that you're caring for and creating that care plan for. So it's not seeing technology as a threat in any way, not something that's taking hours away from someone, not something that's less care for someone, but actually it can be a more dignified way of caring for someone in a lot of scenarios for the right person. So I learned all that just from our 3-hour fundamentals courses, and that is what falls under that enabling technology credential. That is really, like I said, good for anyone in your organization or anyone anywhere. It is 3 different courses and then an exam. And then we do ask for sort of a review that we call a transformation summary. So we ask just about 3 or 4 questions asking, what did you take away from this? And really that's how we gather feedback so we can keep improving our education. So that's that first level. The next, we call it the Enabling Technology Integration Specialist certification. So that's really that next step if you want to go a little further and get a certification. That's for staff working with a state or with an agency or a provider organization, either one. And that's for folks who are really involved in that circle of support, the ones that are doing the planning and the assessment and creating that care plan. And it does start with the fundamentals courses and then goes on further to add some more detailed things. It ends with an exam, just like fundamentals courses, but then also a case study. And that's not a long drawn out process. It's really just you taking what you've learned and creating a draft case study so that you'll know how to use those tools going forward when you're actually working with individuals. And it also ends with that transformation summary. We estimate that takes about 18 hours to complete. This is going to vary by person. The beautiful thing about our platform is it's used at your own pace. It's fully remote. It's very engaging. It's videos, it's voiceovers, it's touch and flip learning cards. So you really can't fall asleep in this class, and you can stop and start as you'd like. So it might take 18 hours, or you might just cruise right through it on a Saturday if that's what you'd like to do. But we just wanted to give you some estimates of how long we think it would take. And then our navigator certification We created that because as we created the integration specialist certification, we heard back from support coordinators, generally is the term I keep hearing, but I hear a lot of different titles in this industry, but that support coordinator who just has a little bit of a different role in caring for the families and individuals. Maybe they need to really focus more on accessing funding, how the waivers are working, things like that. So not quite as intimately involved in creating that care plan. You all know a lot better than I do about this role, but so that's who this piece is steered towards. So if you're not sure which of those would be better for you or someone you work with, we can absolutely talk you through it. And we are happy to share a demo as well, so you can get a feel for that before you decide if this is something that you want to jump into, or which one's right for you. And then that leadership certification pretty much speaks for itself. As I said earlier, this really needs to be at all levels of the organization. And so the leader is the person that really needs to do that blocking and tackling to make sure that this culture shift really does happen and that it's sustainable. There's actually an entire course underneath the leadership certification around sustainability and innovation. It's it starts at the very top of a tech first transformation for an organization. So that's who the leadership certification will be addressed to. And instead of a case study, let me get that off my screen. Instead of a case study, that certification ends with an organizational technology plan. So we have a template for that. It's not something a leader has to start from scratch and create, but they will leave that certification with an entire plan for how to take their organization through this change. So that's a great product. And they do that hopefully with a team if they don't do, so that they can have a team to help implement that so it doesn't feel overwhelming or daunting. And then lastly on that, our remote support modules that we added as we heard people were more interested in learning a little bit about how remote supports work. Those are not built into these other certifications and credentials, but they are add-ons that you could easily tack on to your learning plan. So those are the pieces of our curriculum. I just want to pause there and see if anyone has any questions. I see a hand raised. I'm trying to look at that and my screen. So Harold, did you have a question or something to add?
I do, just if you don't mind, just with respect to terminology that we'll be using as we go forward. And that is the Enabling Technology Integration Specialist certification. Many of us, including me, use the term tech champion interchangeably with that role and certification. And I just want to make sure as we talk again further about this, tech champion in our vernacular, is the same as the ET integration specialist. And more importantly, it is integral and vital to everything that we do going forward. And in fact, in your state, we've talked about not just providers going through that process, but also people in state government, so that we are aligned and are talking the same language and see the world in a similar way. And just really briefly, and I'm sorry to take up this time, Jill.
No, it's important. Thank you for doing it.
The leadership certification, as we go forward, I'll wrap up the meeting today to talk to you about what lies ahead. But the role of leadership in change and organizational culture change is mandated. It's absolutely essential. So I just want to underscore the importance of that particular certification. Excuse me, Jill, thank you.
No, please interject. Harold, you have a long history with SHIFT, so you know things I don't know. So I hope you will interject anytime, please. Any other questions? I can't see everyone's hands raised, so please just ask if you have something. Not yet? Everybody awake out there? Well, I'll just add on that each of these education packages come with a 2-year membership to SHIFT. And what, like I mentioned earlier, we're really trying to create this this global learning community. So you all can connect with people across the country. We're working with 23 different states right now. We want to have panel conversations. We'd like you to be able to chat about challenges you're having, compare notes. We do a leadership series where we have guest experts in your field come and speak, either a panel presentation or we'll have, targeted folks that are just speaking on a topic that you all have told us that you're interested in. So again, we're really trying to build this into a holistic platform that supports all that you're doing. So we really welcome feedback from all of our learners on what you'd really like to see. But it is a 2-year certification and a 2-year membership to everything else that we offer. All right. Oh, is there a question, Harold? No.
I was just going to, I've been asked, and just to be crystal clear, how long each of these certifications or credentials actually take to get through from beginning to end. And I think, well, let me just make sure I heard correctly. When you talk about the ET Integration Specialist certification, it is in fact expected to be about 18 hours total time. Is that correct?
Yes. Absolutely. Yep. And again, our website will really build out what's underneath each of these better than I just described. And so you'll see what that means. But yeah. Anything else? All right. Well, I'm going to keep moving. I've just got a handful more slides. I wanted to take a moment now and let you be introduced to the platform and see it kind of live and in action. This is a real short video, but it lets you see a little bit of how the platform looks and lets you know that we have really strong tech support. We are always there. There's an email as you're learning. It's a real quick click if you have any issues or questions. And then, of course, you can always reach out to us. But let me play this and see if it actually works for me. Technology working. That would be amazing.
I'm having trouble hearing.
Uh-oh, people can't hear?
No, getting a couple of chats about not being able to hear. Want to start from the beginning and maybe
Well,
Devin can help.
I just wonder if there's a setting that I don't have turned on. Okay, let me try again. That may have fixed it. Sorry about that, everyone. Let's see.
Hi there, this is Cameron with Shift. I'm the Director of Education, and today I'm here to walk you through the platform. So let's take a brief look. As you can see, when you log in, you will come to your dashboard. And then as you scroll down, you'll see a spot that lets you know how to contact us should you need tech support. One thing we've done to help you out is create what we call a knowledge base. That's an area that you can take a peek at some articles and quick videos to walk you through simple things like how to reset your password. So we encourage you to check out that knowledge base if you don't need a lot of intensive IT support. But if you do, no worries. You can email us at support@techfirstshift.com. When you scroll down, you'll see this area called your learning plan. That is your certification or credentialing program. You will want to click into that card. And when you do, if you notice that this is not the program that you thought you were enrolling in, please go back and contact us at that support@techfirstshift.com email address. Over here, when you finish your program, you'll be able to download your certificate. So as you can see, there's a brief description of your certification or credentialing learning plan. And then when you scroll down, you'll have a syllabus that lists all of the courses or activities you'll be completing as a part of your certification or credential. When each of these courses is completed, you will receive a highlighted check mark. You may not proceed to the next class unless the check marks are highlighted with all the classes before them. So that's a little bit about what your learning plan looks like. Now let's check out our menu. So this first section would just take you back to the dashboard. We also have a catalog of additional content, which provides a whole resource library of webinars and tech huddles by Disability Cocoon. If you want to search for enabling technology quickly through the platform, you're able to do that because of two websites that we partner with. One is ATvisor, and you can search for tech products here based on outcomes. And then the other one is Bridging Apps, which provides you with an enormous variety of applications that you can use on tablets and phones for people with disabilities. And then finally, if you'd like to learn more about your state AT program, you can simply come in, put your state down here and hit submit, and it will connect you with the resources that are available to you in your state through the federally mandated assistive tech program. So now let's look at FAQs. These are easy things to read briefly about any questions you may have regarding Shift platform. And then we want to be able to send you to our website, not only to get information, but more importantly, if you need to access that knowledge base, you have another way to do it. There's also a quick start guide here that will walk you through logging in, as well as some other resources you may need as you engage on the platform. And then finally, we'll look down at the Contact Us. If you need to get in touch with us directly, another way to do so is just clicking here. It'll take you to our website and get you to who you need within our organization. So very quick, very easy. So that's a little bit about your Shift platform. We are super excited that you'll be joining our global learning community, and please do not ever hesitate to reach out should you need anything. Thanks so much and take care.
All right. Could we hear that, Harold?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, very good. That was Cameron Kimpson. She is co-founder of Shift and developed the amazing curriculum that we're talking about today. So talking about enrollment, I hope that I'll be talking with all of you about it eventually. But first, you want to be thinking about who the players at your agency or organization are that would embrace this first. You really want to start this work with the folks that already have a good mind towards technology, or are interested, or possibly are already using it, and can, like Harold mentioned, be tech champions for you. The more champions, the better, and the more sustainable the change will be. So that's one thing to think about first. And then, like we've said, I've said probably too many times, it really needs to be at all levels of the organization. If just one certain level gets educated and they can't speak the same language to everybody across the organization, it'll be very challenging and frustrating for whoever those people are. So we can look at the size of your organization and make recommendations of, how many of those enabling technology credentials you might need, how many of the enabling technology integration specialists would be a good ratio for your size, and then leadership as well. So we've done this enough times now that we certainly would give you our advice, but you can do it however you'd like. And then, like Cameron mentioned, and also I've said, we have the support at techfirstshift.com. We are constantly checking that. If you get caught up on one of your videos or one of your learning pieces, you can reach out and we can hopefully get that untangled for you as quickly as possible. Our goal is to be hassle-free. We know that it's a challenge to carve out time for this learning. And so we sure don't want you to get held up when you are finally able, or your teams are finally able to make time to do that. All right. Some of this is, this next slide is really makes the assumption that you've already decided to enroll with us. But what I hope this has given you is a good example of, this is an orientation presentation that we can do for your teams when you decide that you want to pursue this education. Happy to come back and speak to them, make sure they know they have the support. And we can even go further in depth of maneuvering through the platform. So the video that Cameron did, we can even be more detailed on how to point and click and move through the lessons. All right. And lastly, this is just where you can find us if you want to research us a little further. We're out there on all the social media, and then our website is techfirstshift.com, and that's where you can learn more and read through details of each learning package. So with that, Harold, I'd love for you to add anything that you had hoped that I'd cover and I didn't, and then I'd love to answer any questions that y'all have.
Sure. One thing I would like to add, and I think we all understand the vital role of DSPs in your in provider organizations. I just want folks to think about who among your DSP workforce are considered leaders, because if you're really interested in organizational change and transformation, those DSPs who are looked upon as leaders will be vital to helping make this happen. And in fact, there is a shift certification in which they can learn the role of technology with more depth. I say that only because of my past experience, and it was a different time. We started pre-COVID, but it's important for me to share that there are a lot of DSPs who saw enabling technology and remote supports as a threat to their jobs. And in fact, it's never been meant to. It's meant to have a complementary relationship with DSPs and technology. And in fact, there are never going to be enough DSPs to do the work. So that, although there is a perception of a threat, it's not really real. And so having DSPs on board with respect to this process, should you decide to go through with it, is vitally important. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. Any questions I can answer about Shift, or there more you wanted to hear that maybe I didn't cover?
Well, Jill, let me, and don't feel bad, there's never questions after these. This is,
That's okay. Quiet group, quiet group.
This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th in a series of webinars that Devin and I have helped put together and organize. And there's going to be one more. So I just want to sort of tie in what Jill talked about today with what lies ahead. At some point in the near future, there'll be a webinar presentation to talk about the transformation project that I referenced earlier, and we're going to be talking about what that really looks like, what are the implications, what are the expectations. I just want to emphasize that foundational to anything happening in terms of the provider and providers and support coordination agency selected is that education and communication are going to be foundational to everything. And nothing will actually happen until those two components and platforms are in place. So I say that to say, those of you who are sincerely interested in what we talked about today, I urge you to go online and take a deeper dive into what Shift might offer your organization, because it does lie ahead in the not too distant future. Okay, that's all I got. Any questions? And I'm going to start bidding at 3, 2, 1. Anybody? I saw something move. I saw a chat. Jill, is that for you?
It's me. I'm just putting our.
Oh, it's
website.
Harrison to say thank you. Okay. Thank you, Harrison, for saying that. All right. With that being said, I think. Okay. Thank you, Jill. There's Tech First Shift.
That's first shift. I do that too. It's a
I'm killing it.
mouthful.
I'm killing it. Anyway, the website is there. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Jill, thank you. And we're going to do this one more time, and then we're going to make change happen.
Cool. Well, thank you for all you're doing. It was a pleasure to be here today. I hope to talk to you in the future.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.